What is going on, guys? This is Iron Noobs coming back at you with a little bit of a different video. In this video I'm going to be explaining to you magic bean farming with player-owned farms to see if it's still viable to farm beans or to pay for beans from the player-owned farms buying these sun-dried beans here. I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and if you do, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and we'll catch y'all at the end. Peace. Before I get started, I just want to go ahead and show y'all what I already have in the bank. Grapes of Zamorak, 1,332. Grapes of Saradomin, 746. And Grapes of Guthix, 1,033. Swamp Toads, 3,735. So here I am at the grapevine patch. I actually had a set of grapevines already growing before I started this, so I left one bean in the bank just to not get any confusion. I'm going to go ahead and exchange this guy here. All you need for this is the magic bean, of course, and then super compost. You don't actually need super compost. I just use it because it gives a chance to be able to acquire some more grapes while doing this. I have my magic beans. I'm also wearing my Grace of the Elves. I need to go get my Luck of the Dwarves out, but I'm wearing my Grace of the Elves with porters just to be able to make this faster and save some time. Let's go ahead and get this started. I actually realized that some people may actually not know where these patches are, so as you can see, I'm here at the lumberage yard. I'm going to go ahead and head east and cross over this bridge and start heading north. I'm going to continue to run north past the goblins and the cow farms here. It's just a little bit north. I'm going to continue to run up here. I do use mobile on my Excalibur when doing these grapevine runs. You can also do these without magic beans, and I highly suggest doing that. But here is the patch we were just at, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some super compost here. I leave myself 3 spaces just because I carry 1, 2, 3. I wear the farming cape, and so I have a chance to gather the things noted, and those will not go to the bank even having the porters. So that's the reason I do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and just let this go on, and we'll show y'all how we do, and I'll explain everything as this video plays in the background. Alright, I actually want to show this clip in live action to see that there's nothing being sped up. This is completely instant. These are the reads here that you're going to receive. These are the reads, that you're going to receive from time to time. You have a 50%, I believe it's a 50% chance to get the reads or to actually get the grapevine. That's why I showed you the swamp toads at the beginning, so that you can see actually how many swamp toads and stuff I get, because a lot of people don't realize that this is actually worth quite a bit of money. Alrighty guys, so everything has been farmed, harvested, and processed. As you can see here in my inventory, I have 734 wines of Zamorak, 426 wines of Saradomin, 452 wines of Guthix, 11,070 swamp toads, and 1,370 swamp tar. That is going to be 39.7 mil, so roughly 40 mil. This took me about 2.5 hours to do. I'll explain everything in the next section where the math is all going to be. I just wanted to show this part of the video for those of you who are wondering what 100,000 beans could get you from player-owned farms. If you're not interested in the math, please like the video if it did help you out. If not, stay tuned for the long math section. Alrighty guys, if y'all made it this far, then y'all are interested in some serious math. I hope I do not screw this up. I'm sure there will be a mathematician to come back and tell me I messed up somewhere. But let's go ahead and get into it. I started off this little, I guess, experiment with 100,000 beans. I'm going to do my best to put text onto the screen to make this not only informational, but also interactive, to try to not bore people that are actually interested in the math. So I apologize if I'm kind of new to this style of editing. I'll do my best. So I started off with 100,000 beans, which myself personally, I farmed all my own animals. It took me roughly 22.5 days to get 100,000 beans. To get 22.5 days, basically every chin takes 10 hours to breed and 8.5 hours to go from a baby to an adolescent, which means every 18.5 hours I'm able to receive 8 adolescent chins. These chins are then sold every day for 2,000 beans. My zygomites, which are in my medium pen, take roughly 8.5 hours to breed and then an additional 17 hours to go from baby to adolescent. This equates to roughly 1.7k beans per day, being that roughly every 25-ish hours I'm able to receive 2 zygomites, which sell anywhere from 850 to 935 beans. I went on the lower end of 850, giving me 1.7k beans per day. On my large pen, I have, of course, the black dragons breeding. It takes 17 hours for a black dragon to breed and roughly 42 hours to go from the egg status to the baby status and from the baby status to the adolescent status, meaning roughly every 2.5 days I'm able to receive two adolescent dragons, equating to 4,000 beans. Doing this math equates to 22.5 days to receive 100,000 beans. Now, to explain the reset process on buyers of these animals here, the Chinchompa, a Zygomite trader, and also the Dragon trader, who is not here because I'll explain that. On the small reset, who happens to be the Chinchompa buyer, he resets every day and you're able to sell exactly 12 Chinchompas every 24 hours. I'm not sure if it's at reset or just every 24 hours, but you're able to sell up to 12 Chinchompas per day, meaning a total of 3,000 beans can be acquired. Me being that I only do 8, I only receive 2,000. The medium pen, which is my Zygomites, resets every 48 hours. He will buy up, or she in this case, will buy up to 8 Zygomites at anywhere, like I said, from 850 to 935 beans if at the adolescent stage, equating to 6,800 beans every 2 days. I'm only able to get 2 Zygomites, being that I farm them myself, so I'm only able to get the 1.7 thousand beans per day. The large reset, the large buyer, the dragon buyer in this case, resets every 3 days, meaning that every 3 days I'm able to sell 6 dragons for 2,000 beans apiece, equating to 12,000 beans. Once again, I grow my own animals, meaning that it takes me roughly 2.5 days, which is every reset at least, but I only have 2 dragons, equating me to 4,000 beans. Now, if you were to purchase all of this stuff yourself, you could buy 12 chins every single day for roughly 100,000 coins apiece, based off of the prices of making this video. You could also, again, buy 8 Zygomites every 2 days for, based off the price of this time of this video, is 250,000. And you can buy 6 dragons every 3 days for 400,000. They have what's called a 6-day cycle, which means within that 6-day cycle, you are able to turn in 72 chins, equating to 18,000 beans, 24 Zygomites, which equates to 20,400 beans, and 12 dragons at 2,000 beans each, equating to 24,000 beans, for a total of 62,400 beans. Meaning every month you can acquire 312,000 beans. So if I haven't lost you yet, you're probably wondering, why am I explaining the difference between buying your beans or farming them yourselves? And really it comes down to how much profit you would like to make per month. So I happen to plant these beans in the hops. As you saw, I bought the sun-dry beans, which cost 400 beans a piece, and I plant them in the hops allotment patches for the chance of grapevines. After doing my testing, I received a 50.87% chance of getting a grapevine and a 49.13% chance of receiving reeds. which reads you acquire the swamp toads and the swamp tar paste from, which this is actually pretty accurate off of the wiki, saying that you have exactly a 50% chance for both. Doing this experiment with 250 beans, like I said, I received 50.87% on grapes and 49.13% on swamp toads. The farming experience that I acquired, now this is going to be completely base. I did acquire more because I have farming outfits and things like that, but if you don't have any of those farming outfits, then this is just the base XP. For the 250 beans, I received 531,960 XP for the grapevines. I received an additional 140,000 XP for the reeds, giving me a total of 671,990 base experience. After making all of my wines, I also received an additional 341,744 cooking XP. As you noticed in the videos, I had received 105 farming and 100 cooking respectively. The time it took me to plant, harvest, and make the wines was roughly 2.5 hours. It took me 2 hours to plant and harvest all of the beans, and it took me 27 minutes to make all of the wines. Now comes the choice for you to make whether you would prefer to buy your beans or sell or farm your own animals and get your own beans. So, with farming the 250 beans, the 50.87% chance of grapes that I received, I ended up receiving 734 wine of Zamorak grapes, which equates to 5.77 chance per bean. I was also using my legendary Green Fingers aura. I have the Supreme, which gives me a 10% chance to acquire an additional crop. I also received 426 wines of Saradomin grapes, which equates to 3.35% chance per bean. And then I received 452 Guthix grapes, which equates to 3.55% or per bean. I then received 11,070 swamp toads out of opening all of my sacks of toads, I guess. Now the price of everything made, processed, and everything is 39.731 mil. This means that on average, each magic bean, the sun-dry magic bean, is worth an average of 145,000 coins. So this is where you decide if buying the beans is better than farming the beans yourself. Buying the beans will cost you roughly 90 mil GP per month. This is a 30-day cycle based off of the 6-day farming cycle. You will receive 120 mil every month, equating to a $30 million profit. If buying the beans, you would be spending 36 million GP per month on chins, 30 million GP per month on zygomites, and 24 million GP per month on dragons, costing 90 million GP per month, giving you 780 magic beans. If you decided to farm the beans yourself, you would basically be roughly receiving 133,000 beans per month, equating to roughly 332 magic beans per month. If farming yourself, you would receive 48.2 million GP per month, but that's not all. Because I happen to keep 2 breeding pairs of black dragons in the breeding pen, I receive an additional 14 unchecked black dragon eggs per month, adding an additional 3.6 million GP extra if sold with current prices, giving me a total of 51.8 million GP profit per month farming everything myself. I believe that is all of the math for this episode, and now, like I said, it's just your decision. You could buy the beans every single month, or in this case, every 6 days, daily on chins and things and spend 30 or 90 million GP and profit 30 million GP per month, or you could take the slower yet cheaper route and receive an additional 51.8 mil profit per month. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If this did help you out, let me know down in the comment section. If it didn't, of course, let me know down in the comment section. And let me know if y'all'd like to see any other videos like this in the future. Until the next one, I appreciate it. This is Iron Noobs saying peace.